17 away from 8 here on Kiwi.
The voice of the creative economy, Vincent Heeringa with Wammo on Kiwi.
It's our last chat for 2009. Vincent Heeringa from Idealog magazines, good magazines, NZ Marketing, stoppress.co.nz, the HB Media stable. Good morning to you, Vincent.
Good morning, Wammo. How are you?
Not too bad on Christmas Eve.
It's Eve.
Eve. Yeah, we're almost there.
You're almost there. Is this your last day today?
No, it's taking it right up to the wire tomorrow.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Excellent. This is my last day, so I've got one day to do the Christmas shopping, and they're running around like a mad flea in a fit.
Oh, you're gonna really? You're gonna do it? You're gonna brave it out there?
Well, you don't have much choice. But aren't the shops open late? I hope so. I'll be one of the people contributing to the consumer economy.
I do remember in the 90s, for at least a couple of years there, some malls stayed open 24 hours. I know St Luke's Mall in Auckland City did. I don't think they do that anymore.
It's kind of sad and amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
Convenience.
Yeah.
What always breaks my heart is to see how many people go shopping on Boxing Day. Isn't that the day that you're out picnicking and at the beach and doing the very thing that, you should be doing, which is communing with nature and family and friends, instead of filling up the car park with...
But it's the sacred day of bargains.
Sacred day of bargains.
Mm.
I wonder if it has a patron saint.
It could do. What would he look like?
I think it'd be
a banker?
I think Saint Suzanne Paul. She would be in a glorious glow of Thin Lizzy. No, she would have a natural glow. She'd have a supernatural glow.
That'd be a reason to stay away from the shops.
Anywho, on to the year in review, particularly for Kiwi innovation and Kiwi ingenuity.
Yeah. And
it's quite a hard one here. There's been a lot of very cool stuff made and invented and created and launched this year.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, you'd have to say that innovation has not been a winner thanks to the recession. The numbers, there's a report coming out. I've seen a sneak peek into it from IBM and the University of Auckland, which suggests that innovation is down majorly this year.
Yes.
As a result of people tightening their belts, so R&D and all the costly stuff with innovation is down. But there have been some highlights, Wammo, so I wondered if I could run through a few.
Yeah.
Well, I think the absolutely coolest invention this year, by far and away from a Kiwi company, has got to be the Yike bike. Do you know about the Yike bike? It's a fully plug-in electric fold-away bike that is kind of like a in looks, it looks a little bit like a penny farthing.
Yeah. Big
front wheel, small back wheel, and you sit on it with your hands behind you and you ride around warehouses and busy inner city suburbs.
Sounds handy. Is it available now? Can you get it?
It is. It is available now. It's so they've past the prototype stage and they're sort of doing small scale manufacturing, and it's kind of like a New Zealand's version of a Segway, but only better because you can fold it up and carry it. It's only 20 kilos.
Okay, cool.
Very cool. Very clever invention. The surprise or the surprise heroes of the year have been the winemakers down in Hawke's Bay with Gimlet Gravels, which is an area that used to be nothing more than a drag strip, Wammo. It was just, it was regarded as too rocky for farming.
Yeah.
It was too far out of town to build a suburb, so it was used as a drag strip. And of course, with the growth of the wine industry 20 years ago, the area was planted in grapes, and the wine, particularly the Shirazes and the Cabernets that are coming out of that area, are just blowing away people in the Northern Hemisphere. Blind tastings up against the best Bordeaux are showing that these are absolutely winning grapes, winning wine coming from that area.
See if I can try and hunt down a bottle over the next couple of weeks.
Gimlet Gravels, our prediction. It's the hottest new thing. It's the new Marlborough Sauvignon. An unsung hero of the year. There's a company that I bet you not many people have heard of, but they are. We're always looking for the Nokia of New Zealand. You know, who's going to be the multi-billion-dollar tech company that comes from New Zealand?
Yeah.
And we may have something bubbling away here. Here is a company that is on the North Shore very quietly doing software for the health industry. So, you know, when you go into a hospital, there used to be, pages and pages of paper being carried around by people and, paper at the end of your bed. Well, a lot of that has been automated now and sits on databases. And that whole process of creating the kind of software versions of patient records is done by a company called Orion Health.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like something that America needs when it eventually sorts out its
Well,
system.
funnily enough, Wammo, that's exactly where their focus is, because America is quite antiquated in its systems. It certainly doesn't have any sort of national systems, and they are very hopeful with these health reforms that that kind of software is required. But they're all over the world, and they're a 65 million turnover company, and really heading for that 100 million turnover figure. And they hope by the end of this financial year, which is April. So a very exciting company there, and below the radar. You know, it's privately owned. It doesn't it doesn't make a great noise about itself, but bloomin' heroes in the ideologue world.
Yep.
Coolest garage invention, a guy from Paikokariki who makes analog guitar pedals, fuzzbox pedals, Red Witch. Do you know this story?
I think you have talked about this one. Refresh us, yeah.
Well, he's just this guy who makes, plays his guitar and used to fiddle around making his own pedals, and couldn't get the sounds that he wanted. He wanted that sort of authentic Jeff Beck, Hendrix, and that kind of late 70s rock sound.
Yeah.
And of course, with everything moving digital, you don't get amps with with analog systems anymore, and tubes and things. So he has invented his own fuzzbox pedals, and is selling them all around the world, selling them to guitar shops, particularly in the States, where they're much loved. And the clever thing, Wammo, he's found that he required some analog equipment that he could only get from one supplier who has sort of stored them for over the years, because they're not manufactured anymore.
Yeah.
But has very cleverly stockpiled enough for himself to get a business going. He's had a major investment from the guy that did taxrefunds.co.nz, very wealthy Queenstown investor.
Yeah.
Just that classic Kiwi thing of, tinkering around with a soldering iron and come up with a world-beating product that is selling in the States.
That's
Lovely
great.
Story.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard about that one before. That's brilliant.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Coolest sustainability story this year was the growth of a company called Carbonscape, which is also a lovely story of a Kiwi scientist who burnt a chocolate cake in his mother's microwave, and in a typical kind of scientific fashion sat down and said, why did that happen? And jeepers, if I can turn the carbon dioxide inside a cake into charcoal, is there something that you could do at the top of a smokestack that's pluming out carbon dioxide? And sure enough, he has. He's figured out a system using microwave technology, basically, to capture carbon dioxide that emits from the smokestack of a factory and turn it into charcoal, which then gets ploughed into the soil as fertiliser.
Great.
Isn't that cool?
It's that sort of technology we need more of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, all it does is it delays a shift to a cleaner burning world, but in the meantime, we've got tons of coal plants and steel plants and things, pumping out CO2.
Yeah. Well, that's...
So, plenty of Kiwi inventiveness out there, Wammo,
Yeah.
and the latest issue of Ideologue's got this big fat supplement called Cash for Your Ideas, and it's all about how do you turn that kind of Kiwi inventiveness into business, because that's the thing we're missing. How do you make your inventiveness into something that people will pay for?
Well, it's certainly a great list, and even though it's been a tough year, it's great to see some Kiwi ingenuity and New Zealand business taking it forward. And thanks for reporting on it for the year.
Pleasure, Wammo, and we'll see you again in the new year, I guess.
We certainly will. Thanks very much.
All right, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Vincent Heeringa there from Ideologue Good, NZ Marketing, stoppress.co.nz, the HB Media stable. And well worth picking up that latest magazine of Ideologue for some of those stories that we've just been hearing about.